F asterisk your feelings 1. Discipline over emotion. You ever notice how a river carves through rock, not because it feels like it, not because the water wants to. It's because it never stops moving day after day, year after year. Long after the storms pass, long after the seasons change, it just keeps flowing, no matter what's in its way. That's discipline. 2. Consistency beats motivation. Motivation is like a campfire. Burns bright, feels good, lights up the night, but it dies out quick if you don't keep feeding it. Consistency, though, that's the slow, burning wood stove in the corner of the cabin. It's not flashy, but it'll keep you warm through the whole winter. Everybody loves the rush of motivation. It's that spark you get after watching an inspiring video, hearing a speech, or reading a quote that hits you right between the eyes. You feel unstoppable for about a week. Then life shows up with its muddy boots, and that spark fizzles out. That's where most folks quit. They think they've lost it. They think something's wrong with them because they don't feel that high anymore. But the truth is, motivation was never the fuel for the journey. It was just the match to get you started. What keeps the engine running is consistency. Consistency is the act of showing up, day in and day out, whether you feel like it or not. It's milking the cows every morning for 20 years. It's swinging the hammer until the house is built, even when the sun's beating down or the snow's falling sideways. I've seen men get fired up and sprint hard for a week, then burn out and disappear for a month. And I've seen other men just keep a steady pace, slow and unshakable, until one day they've outworked everyone. Guess which one ends up crossing the finish line? It's not the man who runs fastest. It's the man who never stops running. Consistency is boring. I'll be honest about that. It's not the adrenaline rush you get from a big win or a sudden breakthrough. It's routine, rhythm, and repetition. It's laying one brick every day until you've got a wall that can't be knocked down. The trouble is, people confuse boredom with failure. They think if something feels mundane, it's not working. But that's not true. It's exactly when it feels ordinary that the magic is happening. That's when habits are being forged like steel. That's when the foundation gets strong enough to hold the weight of your dreams. Motivation is for starting lines. Consistency is for finish lines. Think about a farmer again. He doesn't plant seeds and then stand over them shouting motivational quotes, hoping they'll grow faster. He waters them every day, weeds the rows, and waits. Some mornings it's hot. Some mornings it's cold. Some mornings it's downright miserable. But he shows up anyway because crops don't care about his mood. They care about his consistency. You can apply that to anything in your life. Want to get in shape? Show up at the gym 3 days a week for the next 5 years. Want to start a business? Work on it every single day, even if it's just one small step. Want to fix your marriage? Put in the effort every day, not just when you feel romantic. Consistency builds momentum. Momentum builds results, and results build belief. That belief will carry you farther than any motivational high you've ever felt. Here's the real kicker. Once you become consistent enough, you don't need motivation to get going. The habit takes over. It's just what you do. You stop having to decide whether to do it. You just do it, like brushing your teeth or putting on your boots in the morning. But it all starts with a decision. Will you be the kind of person who works only when they feel like it? Or will you be the kind of person who works regardless of how they feel? One path leads to a pile of half-finished dreams. The other leads to a life you can be proud of. Motivation will get you moving. Consistency will get you there. So stop waiting for the perfect day, the perfect mood, or the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Start moving, keep moving, and don't stop until you get where you're going. 3. Principles over moods. A man without principles is like a ship without a keel. Might look fine on calm water, but the first strong wind will send him spinning in circles. Moods are those winds. They shift without warning. One day they blow east, the next day west. If you live by them, you'll never stay on course long enough to get anywhere worth going. Principles, though, they're the deep roots. They don't sway with the weather. They don't ask if it's sunny or storming. They just hold you steady. I've seen too many folks make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. If they're happy, they're generous. If they're tired, they're careless. If they're angry, they're reckless. And then they wonder why their lives feel like a wheel stuck in the mud. Lots of spinning, no moving forward. Your moods will tell you to skip the hard work. Your moods will tell you to speak when you should stay silent, and stay silent when you should speak. They'll convince you to quit on the people you love, to chase something shiny instead of something solid. But a man with principles, he's not tossed around like that. He's got a code, and it doesn't change just because he's having a bad day. Principles are the rules you write for yourself in clear weather, so you'll still know where to stand when the fog rolls in. They're the promises you keep, even when it's inconvenient. They're the lines you don't cross, not because you couldn't, but because you know the cost of crossing them. You want an example? Look at the old ranchers. They'd ride out to fix a fence in the middle of a rainstorm, not because they felt like it, but because the fence needed fixing. They'd honor a handshake deal even when the price of cattle dropped, because a man's word was worth more than a few extra dollars. That's principle. Moods are selfish. They ask, what do I want right now? Principles ask, what is right now? There's a big difference between those two questions. One keeps you chasing comfort. The other keeps you chasing character. Living by principle means sometimes doing the thing you hate in the moment, because you know it's the thing you'll be proud of in the long run. It means telling the truth even when a lie would be easier. It means holding the line when everybody else is stepping back. The world will tempt you to bend those principles, just this once. It will tell you nobody's watching, nobody cares, nobody will ever know. But here's the truth you will know. And every time you compromise, you shave off a little more of who you are until one day you don't recognize yourself in the mirror. On the flip side, every time you stick to your code, even in small ways, you get stronger. You build a backbone that doesn't break when life pushes hard. You become the kind of person people trust, not because you talk about honor, but because you live it. It's not easy. You'll have days when your mood is screaming at you to take the easy road. You'll have nights when fear is telling you to run. You'll have mornings when exhaustion tries to bargain with you for just this once. That's when you look back at the principles you set for yourself and say, nope, this is the way I live. This is who I am. The storms will pass. The moods will change, but if your principles are strong, you'll still be standing where you meant to stand. And here's the kicker. The longer you live by principle, the less power your moods have over you. You stop being the kind of person who needs to feel like it before doing the right thing. You just do it because that's your way. Moods are a roller coaster. Principles are the rails. Without them, you're just free, falling. With them, you've got direction, purpose, and strength, no matter what the day brings. For pain is the price of growth. Everybody wants growth, but nobody wants pain. They want the mountain view without the climb, the muscles without the soreness, the wisdom without the scars. But here's the truth most folks choke on. There's no growth without pain, none, not in the real world. Pain is the toll you pay for becoming more than you were yesterday. It's the entry fee to the life you say you want. And the harder you try to dodge it, the smaller your life will get. Look at nature. A seed doesn't sprout without breaking open. A bird doesn't learn to fly without falling out of the nest a few times. A tree doesn't grow strong without pushing through wind, rain, and winter. And you same rules apply. We live in a world that sells comfort like it's salvation. Every ad you see promises to make life easier, softer, faster. But all that's doing is making people weaker. They get so used to avoiding discomfort that the smallest challenge knocks them flat. You don't get strong by avoiding strain. You get strong by carrying it. That's why lifting weights works. You're literally tearing your muscles so they can heal back stronger. That's the blueprint for all growth. Break, heal, build, repeat. The problem is, pain doesn't feel good. It never will. You'll be sore, tired, frustrated. Your hands will blister, your back will ache, your mind will scream at you to stop. But here's the secret. Those moments are proof you're on the right track. Pain is a teacher. It tells you where you're weak. It shows you what still needs work. And if you listen, it will guide you straight to your limits so you can push past them. But most folks don't listen. They mistake pain for punishment instead of seeing it as progress. The first time it hurts, they quit. They run back to their comfort zones and tell themselves, maybe this just isn't for me. That's why they stay the same. Every time you avoid pain, you choose to stay small. Every time you face it head on, you level up. That's not just some motivational slogan. That's life in the raw. Think back on the hardest seasons of your life. Maybe it was a loss. Maybe it was a failure. Maybe it was a time you thought you'd never get back up. Now look at yourself. Didn't you come out stronger? Didn't it teach you something you couldn't have learned any other way? Pain strips you down to the essentials. It burns away the fluff. It shows you what you're made of. And once you've been through enough of it, you stop fearing it. You start respecting it. I'm not saying you should chase pain for no reason. I'm saying you should stop running from it when it's the price of progress. That workout that leaves you sore for 3 days, that's your body growing. That honest conversation that makes your voice shake, that's your relationship deepening. That business risk that keeps you up at night, that's your future being built. The life you want is on the other side of the pain you're avoiding. That's the hard truth. So the next time you feel that burn in your lungs, that ache in your muscles, that knot in your gut, don't stop, lean into it, thank it, because it's not there to break you, it's there to make you. Pain is the forge. You're the steel, and every trial you survive hammers you into a stronger version of yourself. 5. Action creates emotion. Most folks have it backwards. They sit around waiting to feel ready before they act. They wait for inspiration, for motivation, for some magical bolt of lightning to strike before they take the first step. They think emotion comes first, then action follows. But in the real world, it's the other way around. Action creates emotion. You want energy, start moving. You want confidence, start doing. You want momentum, start taking steps even when you feel like dragging your boots through wet clay. It's like a rusty gate. It doesn't swing smooth because it's been sitting too long. You don't oil it first. You start pushing. It squeals, it sticks, it fights you, but the more you move it, the looser it gets. Before long, it's swinging free. Same thing with your own head and heart. If you sit around waiting to feel like working out, you'll wait forever. If you wait until you feel like making that tough call, you'll never pick up the phone. But if you just start, put on your shoes, dial the number, open the notebook, the feeling you were waiting for shows up after you've begun. I've worked cattle on mornings when I didn't even want to roll out of bed. But once the sun hit my face and the dust hit my boots, I was glad I was out there. That good feeling didn't knock on my door. It met me on the trail. The trick is, you can't think yourself into action. You have to act yourself into feeling. It's the same with confidence. People think confidence is something you get before you start. Nope. Confidence is built by doing the thing scared until it's no longer scary. The first time you swing a rope, you'll miss. The first time you speak in front of a crowd, your hands will shake. The first time you try anything, you'll be clumsy. But you keep doing it, and little by little, confidence grows like a callus, earned, not given. Action is the seed. Emotion is the harvest. The folks who get stuck in life are the ones who wait for the perfect mood before acting. They think if they don't feel like it, it's not the right time. But here's the truth. Most days you won't feel like it. The people who get somewhere in life are the ones who work anyway. There's a reason the old timers didn't sit around wondering if they were in the mood to haul hay or fix the roof. If they waited for the mood, winter would have come and starved them out. They acted first, and the satisfaction came after. You can apply that to anything. Want to write a book? Don't wait for inspiration. Start writing garbage and let the good stuff come later. Want to get in shape? Go to the gym even when you'd rather sit on the couch. Want to fix your life? Start doing the things you'd do if you were already the person you want to be. The more you act, the more emotion follows. And the more emotion you feel, the easier it is to act again. That's how momentum works. But you've got to break that first bit of inertia yourself. Nobody's coming to give you a push. So next time you catch yourself saying, "I'm just not feeling it today," remember that's exactly when you need to start. Put one foot in front of the other. Do the smallest step you can manage. That little action will light a spark, and before you know it, the fire will be burning. Feelings are fickle. Action is faithful. Get moving and let the feelings catch up. 6. Duty is greater than desire. There's a difference between what you want to do and what you ought to do. And a life worth living is built on the second, not the first. Desire is easy. It's soft, sweet, and all about you. It whispers in your ear about what feels good right now. Sleep in, take the shortcut, keep the money for yourself, walk away when things get hard. Duty, on the other hand, is heavy. It's about responsibility. It's about keeping your word when it's easier to break it. It's about showing up for the people who depend on you, even when you're bone-tired. It's about doing the right thing when no one's watching, and no one's going to clap for you when it's done. You can tell a lot about a person by how they act when their desires and their duties collide. Some folks pick what they want in the moment, then make excuses later. Others grit their teeth, shoulder the load, and do what needs doing, no matter how much they'd rather be somewhere else. The old ranch hands knew about duty. They'd ride out in the cold, in the rain, in the dark, because the herd didn't care if it was Christmas morning or the middle of the night. Calves still needed pulling. Water lines still froze. Predators still prowled. You don't tell a cow you'll get to it later, because you're not feeling it. You saddle up and go. That's duty. Desire is about comfort. Duty is about character. And here's the thing, desire is temporary. It burns hot and fast, then fades. Duty lasts. When you live by duty, you can look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and know you pulled your weight. You stood your ground. You didn't let anyone, or yourself, down. Some days, duty will take you places you don't want to go. It'll have you up before dawn, working jobs nobody thanks you for, doing hard things in silence. It won't feel glamorous. It won't feel fair. But over time, it builds a backbone in you that no storm can bend. I've seen men quit marriages because they didn't feel in love anymore. I've seen fathers walk away from their kids because it was too hard. I've seen workers leave jobs in the middle of planting season because they needed a break. Every one of them traded duty for desire, and every one of them paid for it later. You want respect, live by duty. You want to trust yourself, live by duty. You want a life that means something when it's all said and done, live by duty. Desire will come and go. Some days you'll feel like working, some days you won't. Some days you'll feel like fighting for what's yours, some days you'll feel like letting it go. But duty doesn't check the weather, it doesn't take sick days, it doesn't ask for permission, it just says, here's the job, get it done. And here's the strange thing, you often find joy on the far side of duty. You might not want to get up at 4 a.m. to feed livestock, but there's a quiet satisfaction when you watch the sun rise knowing you've already done an honest day's work before most people are awake. You might not want to stay late to finish a project, but there's a pride in knowing you didn't leave it half done. That's the kind of satisfaction desire can't give you. The truth is, anyone can follow desire. That's the easy road. But the people who change the world, who raise strong families, who leave something worth remembering, they follow duty even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. So the next time your desires tell you to quit, remember your duty. Strap the saddle tighter, ride out anyway, because in the end, it's not the easy choices that define you. It's the hard ones you showed up for, rain or shine. The broken path on speech, F*C*K you're feeling. Life doesn't hand out rewards for good intentions, and it sure doesn't care how you feel about the work in front of you. Every single thing worth having strength, respect, freedom, legacy, comes with a price. And that price is paid in discipline, consistency, principles, pain, action, and duty. You can't fake those, you can't buy them. You can't wish them into existence. You earn them one hard day at a time. Discipline will keep you moving when your feelings say stop. Consistency will turn small efforts into mountains moved. Principles will hold you steady when moods try to toss you around. Pain will shape you into someone tougher than you thought you could be. Action will light the fire when you think the spark is gone, and duty will make sure you show up, rain or shine, for the people and the purpose that matter most. Most folks spend their lives chasing feelings, waiting to feel ready, feel motivated, or feel like it. But feelings are just weather. They change, they vanish, they lie. Build your life on them and you'll sink every time the wind shifts. Build your life on these 6 pillars and nothing, no storm, no failure, no bad day, and knock you down for long. So forget about chasing comfort. Forget about waiting for the perfect mood. Stop letting emotions drive the wagon. Hitch your life to something stronger, something that doesn't break when the road gets rough. Because at the end of it all, it won't be your feelings that tell your story. It'll be your grit, your word, your work, your duty. Saddle up. Get it done, and let your feelings ride in the back where they belong. The problem these days is too many folks are waiting on their feelings to give them permission to start, waiting for the mood to strike, waiting until they feel motivated. You know what that's like? That's like a farmer standing on his porch, looking at a field that needs plowing and saying, well, I'll start when I feel like a farmer. He'll start